In the previous chapter, we have learned once the audit work is complete or ongoing, there is also a review process happening, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
once the review has been complete, everything is verified, everything is done and dusted, we reach our last stage called reporting. Okay. So for AA and AAA, there is something called report writing and key audit matters, CAM. For AA, it is there, and for AAA, it is just the same. No difference. Clear, Samriddhi? Just the same as you have studied in AA, you have it on AAA also. And it is a 98 percentage chance question. That means it's going to come.
Okay.
Majorly, it is going to come for sure. Clear?
Okay.
Okay.
Clear.
For AAA, both are going to come. CAM is also going to be there. Reporting would also be there. For AA, either of the two would come. Either reporting or CAM. Clear?
Okay. Clear.
Okay. Samriti, last time you had what? CAM or reporting?
Cam, ma'am.
CAM, yeah. So for AAA, both are going to come. There is no either of the two. Both are going to be there. For AA, either of the two. It would be either CAM or reporting. Clear?
Okay. Clear.
Okay. And Sarah would be doing the questions from the question practice recordings. Clear?
Clear.
So, what is an audit report? It is the end result of the audit that you have performed. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in this audit report, the auditor is going to give his opinion on the FS of the client, and it would state whether the FS is true and fair. Clear? Now,
Clear.
what are the elements of audit report? For AAA, mostly the question could be around the wrong audit report structure and you have to correct it. Okay. And for the past few years, many of the formats have not been asked. Okay. So usually they give the wrong format and you have to correct it yourself in AAA. That's it. That is how format questions would come. Okay.
Okay.
But it's been
Okay.
some 2 to 3 years since this has happened. So we never know whether it would come or whether it won't. Clear? So same
Clear.
like auditor's report, engagement letter, we also have one extra thing in AAA, that is PFI. Okay, so PFI we would study in AAA chapter only. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
and as AA is concerned, you are going to be asked for elements on auditor's report, and each point would carry half a mark. Okay, so if it is for three
Okay.
marks, you have to write 6 points. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Clear.
So we would have the title and addressee to whom it is being reported to, the auditor's opinion, and the reason for the opinion, that is on the basis for opinion paragraph, and key audit matters. Okay, other information which should be known, responsibilities of the management, auditor's responsibility, other reporting responsibility, name of the engagement partner, signature, auditor's address, and date. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, a sample is like this. It could be very different apart from this in the real world. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
format is the same, but it looks more structured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not like this. Okay, so
Okay.
by default, an auditor's report is called as an unmodified opinion. Clear? So that
Mm-hmm.
means if the F is in true and fair in all material aspects, the auditor is going to give an unmodified report. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
And if it is unmodified report, it means that the FS is true and fair. Okay. And it aligns with all the IFRS. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So that means there is adequate disclosures according to accounting policies. The accounting policies have been consistently and appropriately been applied. Okay. There is a reason behind all the estimates that is being calculated by the management. Okay. And every data that we have collected is relevant, reliable, comparable, and understandable. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
in the FS, there is enough disclosures for the users to understand what all material things have happened in the company. Okay. And also, they have used all the important terminologies while preparing their FS. Clear? Now,
Clear.
apart from this, if something uneasy or something or some sort of an issue happens while the audit is going on, then the auditor is going to provide a modified opinion. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Modified opinion, everything is not bad, but better version and the best version is unmodified report. Clear?
Clear.
So
Yes.
when is an audit opinion changed or modified? It is when the FS is not free from material misstatements, okay? And the auditor, or if the auditor has been not able to collect sufficient appropriate audit evidence in order to back up an unmodified report. Clear? So he's not able to provide an unmodified report due to lack of sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Now, the wording of the audit report, that is modified audit report, depends upon how material the transaction is. Clear? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If a misstatement, if it is isolated, okay, that is, if it is taken out, it is going to affect only one part of the FS and the other parts remains true and fair, then we call it as material but not pervasive. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
if one misstatement is affecting rest of the other FS contents and it is materially misstated, then it is called as material and pervasive. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if the opinion is modified or not, we are going to give a basis for opinion paragraph. Okay, regardless of which opinion that we give. And in this paragraph, we are going to explain why an opinion is as such, why an unmodified report, why a modified report. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Understood?
Okay.
Now,
Understood.
qualified opinion based. Okay. So if we can isolate the misstatements from rest of the FS and it is not going to affect any figures that is shown in rest of the FS, then we give a qualified opinion. Clear? So
Clear.
qualified opinion is given when the misstatement is material, but it's not pervasive. Understood? Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So under qualified opinion basis, the basic characteristic is that the whatever error or misstatement that you have noticed or come into notice, it's going to affect only a specific area. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
affect the FS as a whole. Clear?
Clear.
Understood? Now,
Mm-hmm.
isolation of material matter. Another characteristic is that you can actually pull out the material misstatement out of the FS, okay? And the
Mm-hmm.
remaining FS is still going to be reliable. Clear? Okay?
Clear.
So in this case, just a moment. Okay, so in this case, we are going to provide a statement with except for sentence. That means we are going to say all the FS is true and fair except this particular section. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Understood? Now the
Yes.
next set of opinion is adverse opinion definition. So we have talked about a material misstatement where it is just going to affect a particular area, but rest of the others are true and fair, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
if it is going to affect all the other figures in the FS, that means it is material and pervasive. We're going to give an adverse opinion. Clear?
Clear.
So, what is the characteristic? The FS is not going to provide a true and fair view. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the examples of adverse opinion? When the FS has been prepared on an incorrect basis. So, the company is having going concern issues, but it has been prepared on a going concern concept, then that is an example of adverse opinion. Clear? Or
Mm-hmm.
consolidation of the subsidiary is not according to IFRS, then that is a material misstatement and pervasive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or there is a substantial material misstatement and it is going to change a profit into loss or loss into profit or net asset to net liability, then that is also material and pervasive. Clear?
Clear.
Now, next set of opinion is disclaimer of opinion. Okay, so we have looked into our client's records and everything seems fine, but we are not able to get enough evidences. That means there is no sufficient appropriate audit evidence in order to support your opinion. Then we are going to give a disclaimer of opinion. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, so here what does the auditor do? The auditor is going to refrain from giving any opinion on the FS because he didn't get enough evidence. Clear? So
Clear.
example is the accounting records of the client is not right. Okay, then and he has no reason to believe that it could be misstated majorly because he has no evidence whatsoever to verify them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
or if the director has refused to give an MRL, that is management representation letter, okay,
Okay.
or the client has been not able to give them enough evidences. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, impact of disclaimer of opinion. So, when you see a disclaimer of opinion, the first thing that you understand is the auditor did not get enough evidence in order to back up the audit opinion or to provide opinion on the FS. Clear? Second,
Clear.
there is a change in the audit statement. Okay. So instead of writing or starting from the words like we have audited the financial statement, we are going to change it to we were engaged to audit the financial statements. Clear? Now,
Mm-hmm.
positioning statements. See, we are going to ensure that we give enough details about how we have done the audit. That means we have followed all the ISAs, we have maintained the independence, we have taken the ethical responsibilities as an auditor. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is provided in the statements itself. Clear?
Clear.
Understood? And it's not been
Yes.
and it's not placed under basis for disclaimer of opinion section. Clear? Now,
Mm-hmm.
exclusion of key audit matters. So, if it is disclaimer of opinion, we are going to exclude the CAM from the auditor's report. Clear? Because
Clear.
it would be inconsistent. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Understood.
now we are going to move on to rest of the paragraphs that we see in the auditor's report. Okay. First one, material uncertainty relating to going concern. So if you have been auditing a client, okay, and you have seen certain things which denote that the client might be having a going concern issue, then you're going to present them under this paragraph. Clear? So if a
Mm-hmm.
question comes for you for a report writing, on a going concern issue, you're going to mention this as well, that this particular paragraph would be included where you're going to mention the issue with the going concern. Clear?
Clear.
Understood? Now, this
Yes.
should be in a paragraph only and only if the directors have already made the disclosure relating to going concern. Understood?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Next paragraph, emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. So emphasis of matter paragraph is used when, okay, there are certain areas that has been in the FS, which has been already disclosed, and you want the user's attention to that particular disclosure specifically, then you're going to use emphasis of matter paragraph. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it is basically related with uncertainty, certain contingent liability or asset, etc. Clear?
Clear.
Now, next paragraph is other matters paragraph. Okay. So this paragraph has been mainly made in order to draw users' attention, which is not related to the FS, but the user needs to know. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, key audit matters. So key audit matters is those certain things, that is when you were doing the audit, you have encountered you must have encountered many things, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And these many things you have encountered, you would have already discussed with the management, right? So, out of those things, under your professional judgment, you're going to pick out the most important ones. Okay. Then that becomes the key audit matters. Understood? Clear?
Understood.
And while
Mm-hmm.
writing CAM, you need this particular definition as it is in your answer. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah? So
Mm-hmm.
you already know. Okay? And
Yes,
hope
ma'am.
you haven't forgotten because you need that in AAA.
Okay, ma'am.
Examples are significant material misstatement, significant areas where the judgment was required, significant events or transactions, etc. Clear? Next
Mm-hmm.
paragraph is, am I audible enough or the background noise is disturbing you? Just to confirm.
No, I can hear you properly.
Okay.
Properly, ma'am.
Okay. Next paragraph, other information. Okay. So in other information paragraph, you have the financial and non-financial information included in the paragraph. Clear? So
Mm-hmm.
whatever you have encountered in the financial statements, which is of financial and non-financial in nature, you're going to draw attention in the other information paragraph. Clear? Examples are
Clear.
any statement that is being given by the chairman in a director's report. Okay? Like that. Okay? So if
Mm-hmm.
the other information paragraph, information that you have is received before the date of auditor's report, you're going to give a separate section under the audit report called as other information. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Usually,
Mm-hmm.
other information could also be there in the director's report where they're going to mention everything. Okay. If
Mm-hmm.
the other information you have received before the auditor's report is signed, you're going to include them in a separate other information paragraph. Okay. So in this section, the auditor is going to identify other information which has been got before the auditor's report is signed. Clear? And he's
Mm-hmm.
going to mention, okay, the auditor is going to mention that he has not actually audited this other information. Okay, and he's not going to provide any opinion on the other information. Understood? It could be anything related with the company. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he's going to give a description of the auditor's responsibility towards that particular information that he has gained just before the auditor's report was signed. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's going to state either of the two. Either he's going to mention that he has nothing to report on it, okay, or you're going to mention if you know about the certain things, you're going to mention if there is any material misstatement in there. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Now, emphasis of matter graph on matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. What is it? So, emphasis on matter paragraph is used to draw attention of the users into the FS. Clear? And
Mm-hmm.
other matter is included when you want to know the users of certain things which might influence their decision. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. So where does it go? This one goes just after uncertainty on going concern paragraph. This goes after the CAM paragraph. Clear? And what
Okay.
is the
Clear.
heading? Emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the key points? It is going to highlight what has been already reported with the note number as such. Clear? This is going to mention what effect it would have on the auditor's responsibility. Effect on the opinion, this is none, and this one also none. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Clear.
Understood? Now,
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities of auditors and management. So, management is basically responsible for preparing the FS and also ensuring that the internal controls of the company is working fine. And auditor is going to ensure that the management has actually done their work. That means the FS is true and fair and the internal controls are working fine. Clear?
Clear.
And in addition to that, auditor is going to also assess the risk, any going concern issues, and any accounting policies which is going to generate the expectation gap. Okay. And he is going to
Mm-hmm.
work upon it so that the expectation gap is being reduced. We have already discussed what expectation gap is in the first chapter. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Clear.
report on other legal and regulatory requirements. See, sometimes Depending upon the country, there could be certain specific things which should be reported in the audit report. Okay, so this must also be taken into consideration. Okay, it could be like what about the condition of the accounting records, the financial reporting controls, okay, or any other information that the according to the country it needs to be disclosed. Clear? And
Clear.
last part, signature, auditor's address and date. It simply shows who's the partner of the audit firm, which who has signed it off, and his place, the company, and his signature. Just that it. Clear?
Okay, clear.
That's just it. Okay. Now, implications of the auditor's report in your exam. See, for AAA and AA both, you would be given a scenario and you have to identify the materiality. Okay. And you have
Mm-hmm.
provide the condition where it could be wrong and how it is going to affect the auditor's report. It's clearly mentioned in the practice videos. Clear?
Okay, clear.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
communicating those charged with governance. How, what, and when. See, we're going to make use of management letter, okay, engagement letter, and dialogue. In dialogue means discussions in order to communicate with those charged with governance. And what all do we communicate with them? We're going to communicate accounting policy, any risk, any adjustments that needs to be done, any disagreements on the accounting policies, any modifications that is necessary, any deficiency there in the that is there in the company. Clear? And when do
Mm-hmm.
we communicate? On three stages: planning, during the audit, and after the audit. Clear?
Clear. Yeah.
Okay. And we've already discussed this. Okay, this one. So at the stage of planning, what do? We are going to identify risk, okay, and you're going to communicate that with the management or
Mm-hmm.
those charged with governance. Okay. And then
Okay.
you're also going to communicate how you're going to do the audit, okay, and how you're going to address the risk that has been identified. Okay. Next, you're going to communicate your take on the internal controls which are relevant to the audit. Okay. Just today I
Mm-hmm.
have done this. Okay. And next is you're going to apply a materiality level in order to do the audit works so that you can decide which is material, which is not material. Clear? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During the audit, if any situation, if there is any problem that you have encountered, okay, and you could not delay the communication, you're going to immediately contact the management and ask about it. Okay. And this is something that you do on a regular basis. Maybe 10 calls to a client during just half an hour would be there. Okay. Now, lastly,
Okay.
conclusion of the audit. Okay. So, after doing all the audit works, you're going to find all the significant details about your work. Okay. And also communicate any delays that has been caused by the management. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. So, with that, last chapter is over. Okay.
Okay.